Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday morning's lecture. This is your last lecture for this year. Formal lecture, I guess. I'm not sure if you're going to do any revision sessions. Well, we actually have done them already. On Tuesday, we did an exam revision session. Dr. Cottrell did one, and I did one as well. So there are two exams there that we've gone through. We basically went through the exam and then we answered one or two questions that was requested. Today, we're just going to discuss what your exam breakdown looks like, so you kind of understand where the focus will be in your exam. One thing I need to point out that your exam is on the 9th of November. You guys can just hold on a second. That is a Monday morning. It will start at 8:30, which means the exam itself will start at 8:40. The formal time that we will be tracking will start at 8:40, and it is a 2-hour paper, which means at 10:40 you need to start uploading, obviously with a buffer time. I'm not sure what the buffer time will be at this point. We still need to discuss that, but it can be a 30-minute buffer time. Keep in mind that this submission time, this buffer time, is for you to submit. It's not for you to answer the papers. So if you're going to answer the paper during that time and miss the upload, then unfortunately there's nothing I can do for you. You are told to upload during submission time. So technically, if you use that time to write, you are violating one of the rules. Right.
Sorry to interrupt, Van der Westhuizen. Just a note, ladies and gentlemen, if something goes wrong in the exam, you don't apply with us, you apply with the Faculty of Science. The exam is faculty level, so you have to apply with the Faculty of Science for the supplementary, not with us. So you have to explain to the Faculty of Science what went wrong, not us. We have no say in the matter.
Yeah, they will determine whether you write the SSA or not. So the exam SSA is not up to us as lecturers or as department, it's up to the faculty. So please make sure your devices are charged. Make sure you're in an environment that's comfortable for you to write in for at least, I would say, 2 hours, or a maximum of 2 hours, I guess, because you need to upload after that. But make sure that you have enough time to upload. Like I said, if you leave it for the last 5 minutes and you apply for an SSA and say, okay, you missed the upload time, they look at the upload time and see it was past the written time, they'll most likely simply just deny your request. Speculations, once again, because like I said, it's up to the faculty, it's not up to us then. Right. My device does not have a battery. I'm sorry. My laptop doesn't charge. So if it's not plugged in, it also dies immediately. So yeah, if you can, just try and make sure you have a backup plan. Look, things happen. If something goes wrong, obviously you can just say what went wrong, and yeah. Unfortunately, we have no control over that SSA process, and we are going to be given rules about how the submissions will work. So unfortunately, I cannot do a lot for you there. We can get certain things, but once the deadline has been reached, it means this. You can't extend it indefinitely, and if it's extended, it won't be extended a lot. It will be extended by like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe, at max. Right. That being said, your paper is out of a total of 100 marks. So you have roughly 1.2 minutes per question or per mark. So make sure you factor that in when writing. So if a question counts more marks, you've got more time to answer the question, but make sure you don't spend too much time on a specific question. So The question paper structure will be as follows. To my understanding, well, campus is open. Campus is open. You guys should have seen the circulars from the VC. Campus is open. You can come onto campus. There is an open lab that does apply social distancing. So you could theoretically write in the open labs or in the lab. Just make sure you're aware of the processes, because to my understanding, there is a booking process that needs to be done before you can go into the open lab, and it's social distancing. So getting onto campus, it also takes some time. So make sure of these things beforehand. But like I said, to my knowledge, there is an open lab. You have to book for the open lab, but also keep in mind that it's something you have to book for. I will try and find out if it's going to be open during those times. Otherwise, just look at the open lab schedule or the lab schedule. They will tell you whether it's open or not. I'm not sure where they post that though. I've never actually looked at that schedule itself. Right. Same with the library. You have to book to go in there, and the library also have machines there. So if you need to use that, then you just need to book for it. Question one of the exam paper is going to be UML. The UML will count 15% of your exam paper, so 15 marks. Please make sure that you fill everything out. Keep in mind that UML means diagram, not code. UML means diagram. And the question starts with draw a UML diagram. So question 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5 are all based on diagrams. You need to draw them out, the requirements that are outlined in the questions for you. Question 2 is recursion. Surprise, surprise. So there is a recursive function that will be asked. In fact, there's multiple recursive functions that will be asked. So it's a total of 10 marks. One is where you have to give us the formula in terms of X, Y, and Z. The other one is where you have to provide us the code for the recursive function that is given to you. So we give you a formula, and we ask you to give us the code for for the function, the code for the function for that specific formula. Question 3 is programming. So that is where you need to code out your solution. You will be given a set of classes and you'll be given a set of classes, and you'll be given a set of concepts that you have to apply to these concepts, to these classes. So we give you a very short list of classes. We'll give you a base class and most likely examples of derived classes or composition classes or interface classes. It just depends on how you are going to use them. Some of them can be interface, some of them can be composition based on how you use it. So it's based on your interpretation of the classes, how they can be used. We don't tell you specifically how they fit together. You get to decide that. Then you're asked to do certain concepts. So we'll ask you to do something like composition. We'll ask you to demonstrate inheritance or downcasting or shadowing or polymorphism. You'll be asked to do specific or to demonstrate specific concepts in the question. Now, the idea is that you write this code out for those specific elements. Now, I have to warn you, only focus on the specific elements you're going to be using. Don't go and think you're going to write out a class with 4 instance variables and do all the property methods and do all the non-relevant question related code. In this question, you only provide the code that is requested. Don't spend too much time on this question. It counts 21 marks. if my mind's working correctly, you've got about 24 minutes that you should spend on this question at maximum. So you don't have a lot of time. You have enough time, but you don't have a lot of time. So don't waste your time by writing all the non-essential code. We will tell you to demonstrate or to illustrate a concept. So if we tell you to illustrate inheritance, then illustrate inheritance by just making your base class and then making your derived class and then adding your inherit comment. And that demonstrates inheritance. Don't do more than that for that section. And if we ask you to do something like shadowing, create a function that has shadowing in it, make it a short function so that you can just demonstrate what shadowing is, and that's that. Don't go and make a constructor and then a property method with a utility function. In the utility function, you do shadowing, because then you're wasting your time. If we ask you to do something like enumeration, don't go and add 1,000 things, or obviously I'm over dramatizing 1,000 things, but don't go and add too many things to it. If you want you to demonstrate something like enumeration, add like 2 or 3 things maximum. You don't want to waste your time. Keep it short, keep it simple, but keep it to the point of what you need to do. So don't overcomplicate the code. All you have to do is just demonstrate the concept, and then you're done with that part of the question. But make sure you demonstrate the concept. You don't want to go and say you're going to do shadowing, add a parameter list in a function, and never actually implement the shadowing inside your brackets, your begin and your end of the function. So use it as a checklist. It is literally a checklist where we tell you inheritance, there's a mark. Check it off when you're done with it to make sure that you've done it. If it says composition or shadowing or whatever it is, just check it off and make sure you do that. It is not going to be difficult. It is something simple and something that shouldn't take you too long to code. So there's always going to be one tricky element in that list. But other than that, if you've been doing your own practicals, you should be fairly easily be able to think of something, because like I said, we give you classes, we tell you to make use of those classes. Now keep in mind, these classes can't be substituted for other classes. You have to use the classes that are given to you. You can't go and change the topic or the concept being asked. Right, so that's for 21 marks. And question 4 is collision handling. You'll be given a rule and a size of the hash file. So you will be told that the file can handle X amount of records, and then you'll be given a table with a number of entries, and you'll be given the key and the position where they are supposed to be placed as well. Now, with this, there'll be 3 collision algorithms that are asked. So you'll be asked 3. They were chosen at random, and you need to make sure that you show all your calculations. You don't have to show every single input. You can draw the table once, and if you're doing a synonym training or overflow, anything that requires a secondary table, you draw your 2 tables, you show your first table, you show your second table with the final state of those tables, and you are done. You don't have to go and show every single input in a new table, because that's going to take too much time. So each collision handling diagram is worth about 6 marks. So you've got a total of 18 marks for collision handling. It's a very nice question. It's very easy to do. Make sure you've watched the lecture on collision handling. I do believe it is sufficient for you to understand all of the ones that are going to be asked. And if you're struggling with that, please let us know before the exam, and not like the day before the exam, a week before the exam at least, if you're struggling with any of these specific concepts, and then I'll be more than happy to go over it again. So before I continue, if you are struggling with anything, please let us know. We can always set up a meeting on Teams or Discord or Zoom, or Teams or Discord, I don't like Zoom, where we can just discuss the concept and see where your misunderstanding is in a specific concept. What if I represent shadowing in the constructor? That is fine. We're not going to tell you where to use the concept. We are just going to ask you to show the concept somewhere. So where you apply it is up to you. As long as you demonstrate or illustrate the concept, we're happy with that. Okay. Then you've got question 5, which is sequential files. Sequential files count 13 marks. You'll be given a list of classes once again with a short scenario, or you'll just be given the list of classes and told to answer a few specific questions. So you'll have 1 or 2 questions that you need to answer, and then one or two that you'll need to code out. You've got question 6 for random access. Same thing applies there. You'll have 1 or 2 questions that you need to answer, and then you'll also have 1 or 2 questions that you'll need to code out. So just make sure you go through that. And then question 7, you've got social aspects of IT. That is going to be based on the Balban roles. We can either give you a scenario that you need to analyze the Balban roles of the members of a team. We can ask you to analyze your own team for your first year project or your team project. We can ask you to discuss the Balban roles, but the question 7, the social aspects of IT, will count 10 marks. So for the code part of the question, I believe is question 3. Can I write the code on paper? Yes. So this is meant to be a written exam, which means you would have had to write it out in any case. So the expectation is that you're going to write it out, and you will have to submit this on a PDF. So it is going to have to be in a written format in any case. The exam is written, it's not practical. So you have to write out the code for this instead of typing out the code and then copying and pasting that, which I assume most of you will probably do in any case. You'll probably code it in VB and then copy paste that, which is fine. But in the scenario of pre-COVID, this is a written exam. You would have had to do that on paper in any case. Yes, you can type it out. There's nothing wrong with that. Because we're not going to look at specific syntax, we're going to look at logic. So the focus is going to be, is the logic correct? Then obviously the base syntax of it, we're not going to be too strict on syntax, but it needs to be logically corrected. And if you've been doing your own practicals, I'm fairly confident that you should all be able to write out the code that is required. It's not difficult questions. It just takes time to write them. That's all. So it's not a difficult paper, but you have to think when you write. You have to know what you want to write, because if you spend too much time searching your slides and the videos or your practicals, you're going to waste a lot of time and you're not going to finish this paper. And I would not depend on the submission time, because the submission time is not going to be as large as it normally is if it's based on the same type of submission we had last semester. So don't think you're going to depend on the submission time, because the submission time, like I said, is meant for submission. It's not meant for you to write. So when you practice your exams, try and keep within the 2-hour limit. Right, so that is the exam. Obviously, the SSA and the Chancellor's exam, or the special SSA, whatever they're calling it these days, questions will differ, but the mark breakdown is roughly the same. So it's the same, you'll have the same split in questions from question 1 to question 7. I believe you have the same subtotals for each question. The then the questions themselves will differ and the concepts being asked will obviously differ. It's not going to be a copy of your main. Quick recap maybe. Only got here when you were on question 4. Well, it is all recorded, so you can go through that. I'll maybe at the end quickly look through it again, but just to kind of refresh your memory, it's a 2-hour paper for a total of 100 marks. Question 1 UML, question 2 recursion, question 3 is programming, written programming. It's not, you're not going to submit a solution. You're going to type it out in Word or PDF or whatever you use to type out your exam. Question 4 is collision handling. Question 5 is sequential files. Question 6 is random access files. And question 7 is social aspects of IT. So, like I said, I'm not sure what the submission time is going to be like for now. That will have to be discussed. If it's anything like last semester, you'll have a 30-minute upload buffer or submission buffer, because we've noted that students are using the submission time to still keep on writing, and to be quite frank, it's not acceptable. So obviously we don't check up on it, but we've noted that there are students that are trying to upload 5 minutes before the end of the submission time ends. And if you're struggling for an hour to submit, then you would probably somewhere along the line send me a message saying that there's an issue. So if you're not doing that, then I'm going to assume you're still writing, which you should not be. Like I said, we're not tracking when you stop writing and when you start uploading. We only go based on when you upload. So like I said, try and keep it within the 2 hours. The submission time is meant for submissions. Obviously, some of you still use it for 1 or 2 questions, but don't think you're going to wait for the last 5 minutes upload and then something goes wrong. Please make sure you use your time wisely, plan it out. We will stream a timer on Teams and Discord. So there will be a timer. There will be a specific Discord server for the exam, and we will stream a timer there. So please, if you want to look at the timer and see how much official time you have left, that will be there and available for you. All right, that's the exam. If you're not going to attend the TUT this afternoon, like I said, the TUT is going to be a Q&A session. So you ask questions, we answer them. And if no one is going to ask a question for 10 minutes or so, then we're going to call it a day and call it a semester. That will be the last time you see us before your exams, unless obviously you arrange a virtual meeting with me and Dr. Cottrell. But yeah, that would be it. You can expect your semester test marks by tomorrow. We've asked the assistants to be done by today. So we'll try and have those marks released tomorrow morning. If not, it will be released by tomorrow evening or Saturday morning at the latest. Yeah. So just bear that in mind. Your question papers, and I was going to upload it on Monday. I got a bit bombarded with other things. So I will upload that somewhere between now and Monday morning. We will be releasing a semester mark. To my knowledge, we'll be releasing that with your second semester test mark as well. So just keep an eye on Eve. You'll see some marks popping up there within the next 2 days or within the next 48 hours. And if there's any issues, if you have any issues, please email us. Discord's not going to allow you to DM us anymore. I did disable those features. So please, if you have any queries, please use the official channel, which is via email. We are not responding to private or digital messages on Discord at this point. There's just too many avenues of communication. So the official communication channel is email, and then informal is Discord. But if you have any general questions, you can ask it inside the Discord server itself, I will be looking at the Discord server every evening and throughout the day if there's enough time for it. And yeah, I hope you guys are ready for the exams. You've been doing all your own work. The exam should be fairly
Mr.
easy.
Desden,
Yeah,
they're reminding you for their cheat sheet.
it's not a cheat sheet. It's like it's an
Yeah, I know what it
info
is,
sheet.
but they're reminding you about it because you haven't done it.
Yeah, I asked them to remind me. Thank you. Uh,
The exam
yeah,
Discord link will only be given during the exam, by the way,
yeah,
just to
it'll
answer
be
that
in the
question.
exam paper. Yeah, my boss will thank you for the reminder. Um, just remind me in the chat this afternoon as well. My mind is not of the clearest state today. There was a long day and we still have a lot of marking to do. Obviously, you want your semester test marks out. So, yeah, just remind me again this afternoon, please. Otherwise, good luck for the exam. I will have that info sheet ready. If I don't do it by tomorrow, I'll definitely do it over the weekend and upload it to Eve. It's just the bite sizes that is required, and I think I included the enumeration on that as well. Just a slide for enumeration. We did do a total enumeration, so just have a look at that. The ST2 status is just something for you to be aware of whether you need to apply for the SSA or not. If it says nothing /0, then it means your submission is in and we've acknowledged that we receive it. But the SE2 status is for people that need to apply for the SSA. So the people that need to apply for the SSA, you will see in your mark field, apply for SSA. That means I don't have a paper for you. I don't have a submission for you. If it's nothing out of 0, if there's no comment there, then it means I have your paper. I have your submission on Eve. So if your SE2 status says apply for SSA, please make sure you apply for the SSA. There is a Google form link on Eve that's going to be used. Make sure you submit all the relevant documentation, and the SSA will be in next week, Monday, I think. The dates are on Eve.
Just to add to that, I'm going through some of the marking now. Just to those in session and watching this video, hopefully later, ladies and gentlemen, we're picking up students that just submitted a design and a code. They need to contact us as soon as possible because we need to decide how to handle them. So if you're aware that you only submitted a code or only submitted your design and no code, I suggest you contact us immediately.
Well, unfortunately, if you only submitted your design and no code, you'll have to write the SSA. We can't accept late submissions. So, yeah, please make sure you submit correctly for the exam. When you submit your PDF, go through every single one of your pages, check that everything is there. Please check that everything is there. You don't want a situation you skip a page. What do you want repeated? I'm assuming you're referring to what Dr. Gottschall said.
Just to repeat what I said, if you know that you only submitted a design for semester test 2, which I've picked up 1 or 2 students doing, I suggest you contact Mr. Van der Westhuizen and myself as soon as possible, else you have a bit of a problem. Quite simple. It's nothing. Because I've picked up 1 or 2 students that just have submitted designs and no code. So they're looking to fail in current situations that don't contact us.
We will most likely email you tomorrow as well, but please note, we're only getting the reports for the test back today. We're still doing copy checking on that as well, or it's already been done. So we'll only be able to email you tomorrow if there's an issue with your submission. And if I say there's an issue with your submission, we'll contact you tomorrow. That's in terms of you have to write the SSA. It's not a case of you can just email us your code now. Unfortunately, that will not work. Right. But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been a fun semester. We had some good times. You had some tests, and you had a project which I think hopefully most of you enjoyed. Please note that there is a Blackboard teaching and learning evaluation. If you can please fill that in, like I said, it really helps us to see where we can improve. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are prepared for the exam. If not, I hope you will be prepared for the exam when you write the exam. Other than that, if there's no issues, we'll see you in the exam. If you have issues, I'll probably be in contact via email, and then if needed, a Discord or a Teams meeting, Microsoft Teams meeting. But if that's not the case and you are ready for the exam and you're going to write the exam, and we see you after the exam, I wish you a happy and good exam session. Hopefully there's no issues for you, and hopefully I see you guys next year again. Some of you in 2A next year, and some of you in 2022 for 2A. Hopefully we won't see one another in Informatics 1B again, which I assume is not relevant to the people listening to the recording or in the live stream. So good luck. I wish you the best for all of your exams. Take this holiday to unwind, relax a bit, and then at the beginning of the year next year, we'll be back in full swing of things. Friends, ladies, it was fun. We'll see you tomorrow, this afternoon in the tutorial Q&A session. We will say our final good lucks, but if you're not attending the session, good luck for the exams. Make sure you study. Remember, every exam is easy if you study. Every exam is difficult if you do not study. So please make sure you study sufficiently. And I'll see you guys again next year. And for some of you, I'll only see you in 2 years if you're doing extended. Thank you.